My name is Joe Lynch. I'm the Chief Executive Officer with the Parkinson's Association of Ireland. Parkinson's disease essentially is a loss of dopamine within the brain. It's in an area called substantia nigra, and basically what nigra means black, and in the area of the brain itself, when someone is autopsied or when they look through a DAT scan, they can see that there's a large black area. The more blackness that's in that area, the more dopamine that's in the brain, and therefore the less likely you are to have Parkinson's. The way it works is that if someone loses over 80% of the dopamine in the brain, well then Parkinson's starts to affect them. They generally notice it with a tremor down one side of their body, and the tremor then becomes progressively worse. I just want to say that sometimes people get a tremor for other reasons other than Parkinson's, so they shouldn't naturally assume they have Parkinson's just because of a tremor. And then some people do not get a tremor at all. What they do is they end up getting very stiff. They don't have great movement. The flexibility is disappears, and also their ability then to quickly move and pick up something. They can notice that disappears as well. So that's how it transpires. The general gist of the medication is that there are two types, really. I mean, that they fall into two categories. One is an agonist, which means that they don't actually replace what's been lost, but they fool the body into thinking that has been replaced. And then the second one is the actual replacement of dopamine itself. People believe that Parkinson's is a very old disease. It usually affects older people, and that's in general quite true. However, we do have young onset Parkinson's patients, and the youngest in Ireland has been diagnosed, who was 11, she's 17 now, and we have people all through the range from that point forward. And another point to note, which is interesting, is that if you don't get Parkinson's before 65 years of age, you probably won't get it at all. There's only a 1% chance of getting it. So it's a very peculiar disease. The association started in 1987, and it was set up initially as a support group in the Dublin area. It has spread out from that. We have now 11 branches around the country. We're soon to have 14 branches, and the organisation deals with people with Parkinson's, their carers, their families as well. We provide support, and we provide information to them, and we also provide a services to them, and we're hoping to expand those in the next few years. The Louth branch will be an important next step for the organisation. We have currently 11 branches. The 3 new branches that we're hoping to set up are in Wexford, Athlone and Louth. What we've done is we have a helpline, 1-800-359-359, and the helpline deals with people generally who have been newly diagnosed with Parkinson's. And we've gotten a lot of calls in from the Louth area in the last few months. The database that we have then showed that there was quite a substantial amount between Louth and Meath. So we held an information meeting in the Crown Plaza Hotel in Dundalk during the middle of May, and that meeting had over 108 people at it, and it was exceptionally well attended. The questions that came from people showed to us that there was a need and a necessity for people with Parkinson's to form a group in the area. The organisation itself forms groups around the country. One of them will, as I say, be in Louth, and that group will support members in the local area. What we do is we run a helpline, and then, as I say, information services. So for instance, if someone is newly diagnosed, they can contact the organisation. They can ask questions about the disease itself and how it progresses and so on. And it's often very frightening, and the first point of contact when you're told by a neurologist or a doctor or a geriatrician that there is a difficulty. It often shows when people get diagnosed in the initial stages, they have a tremendous fear factor. They don't know what to expect. They don't know how the disease progresses. They don't know what the full symptoms are and how to deal with them. And quite often, the fear factor prevents those people from going out and mixing with other people. So support groups are incredibly helpful for that. you know, you have people, like-minded people in a similar situation, and they can sit down and have a conversation, and they can share their experiences. The organisation will hope to hold fundraising days throughout the next few years. Definitely we want to progress the organisation to a situation where we will have one fundraising day in a year, just generally during Parkinson's Week. We don't get government funding, so we do look for volunteers. The organisation's hopes for the future are that there will be a cure for Parkinson's. It talks me out of a job, but the bottom line is that that's a good thing. We would prefer that there was no Parkinson's disease, and certainly the research that is going on throughout the globe, from the Michael J. Fox Foundation through to the Muhammad Ali Foundation, through to the research in Ireland. During 2009, the Parkinson's Association donated €50,000 to stem cell research, and that seems to be the way that the organisation will be devoting their research funds. But as well as that, pharmaceutical companies, there's about 12 different drugs that are in test stages at the moment, and if or when they come on board, they should offer better hopes for people. For instance, a new dopamine agonist drug that has come on the market now recently, it used to have to be taken 3 times a day. It's now a slow release, and it's taken once a day, and it featured in our latest magazine. So, you know, there are progression, and there is a way of looking at the disease that you know, it's better served than it was 20 years ago, and hopefully in 20 years' time Parkinson's will have been eliminated.